Dr. Cutter here with the Chainsaw Hospital. Today we're going to be talking about how to tune your chainsaw with your ears. And so this was by request from a friend of mine who was having some trouble with his Stihl 028. And we actually have a Stihl 028 here with us today. So that'll be good for him and good for you guys too. So we're not going to be using a tack or anything like that. We're just going to be using our ears to listen for what this sounds like when it sounds like it's running right and kind of feels like it's running right. So first things first, we're going to take a look at our tuning screws. And on this saw here, it says 1 1/4 out for the high and 1 1/4 out for the low. So you barely bottom out the screw against its stop. You don't jam it in there. You just barely hit it, and then back it out 1 1/4 turn. So that's what I have here. So we're going to see kind of how it sounds. And the reason this kind of came up, this whole thing came up, is he did a muffler mod on his saw, and he noticed it was running faster at idle when he started it up for the first time. So what we're going to try to correct and show him kind of how things go and maybe why that happened, and how to correct it really. Because anytime you make a change to your saw, you might end up with a change to your tuning also. So first thing we're going to do is just kind of start this thing up. And now that I've got the factory jets kind of set at that 1 1/4 turn out, and the idle, I really don't know where that is. It's just the way it was when I started this whole thing. So let's see if we can get this started and see what it kind of sounds like, and we'll go from there. Okay, I'm hearing good throttle response. I didn't pin it back just to listen to it, but it doesn't sound like it's way too rich. And we'll talk about that in just a little bit. So what I'm going to do now is try to replicate um, my friend's situation. And so what we're going to do is we're going to just kind of cheat a little bit, and we're just going to make the saw lean. And the way we're going to do that is actually just turning in on our low screw, which on this saw, I'll tell you what, I'll throw a picture up right here so you can see it really well. So you can see there, what we're going to do is we're going to turn the low speed screw in, the low jet screw in a little bit. And that, again, that's just to replicate what was going on with that other one there. So I turned it in maybe a half turn. So let's start this up and see if we can replicate what was happening with that saw, with it being lean at idle. Okay, you can hear how fast it's idling, and the chain is kind of trying to run a little bit. And so what that's telling me is that is a little lean. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that low jet and we're going to back it out, lefty-loosey that just a little bit. And I'm just going to go back out, let's say a half a turn. And I like a screwdriver that has a pocket clip on it. That really makes it easy to see where you're at. If it doesn't, what you can do is take a Sharpie and put a line on that, on the edge of it where the little grip is. So let's go ahead and turn this back out about a half a turn back to where it was, and let's see how it sounds and see how it kind of reacted to that. Okay, I'm good with that. That's not running the chain, it's the clutch isn't engaging, so the chain isn't running. It's got good throttle response right off of idle. So if you have that situation, that's what you do. Now let's go the opposite way. Let's go rich at idle with the low speed. And so let's go out. We'll go out one, maybe two, maybe one turn. Actually, that was about a half turn. So let's see how it sounds now. Let's see what happens. Okay, you can hear how the idle has drastically changed, and that's okay. You know, we can fix that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to run the low speed screw in until it starts dying, and then back out until it starts dying, and then I'm going to find that happy medium back in the middle, and that should be where this thing was idling the best and had good throttle response. So I'm going to do that now. Tell you what I'm going to do first. I'm going to turn this low speed screw in just a little bit so I can get it running easily, because it was really rich right then. I'm just going to set my high idle. Okay, so what I did is I turned it in all the way until it started dying, backed it out all the way until it started dying, and then turned it back into the middle. And then I don't know if you noticed, it sounded like it was just a little lean right there, so I might not have had it exactly. Literally, I only tweaked it maybe a 16th to an eighth of a turn out, and that settled it right down, right where it needed to be. You saw I tested it a few times, and it had good throttle response, which is perfect. That's what we're looking for. So we got that covered. Oh, and once you get all that set up where it's kind of sounds and it's not smoking and everything, then you can adjust your low air, which is that LA, and that's the kind of the idle speed screw. That's low air LA. That's what Stihl calls it there. Some of them might call it idle actually on it. So it depends on your model. So next up, what we're going to do is we're going to cover the high speed uh, jet. And so what we're going to do is we're going to first, like we did before, we're going to make it lean on the high side so it over revs. And I'm going to show you what that sounds like in the cut. And then so what I'm going to do is turn the high speed screw in, maybe a solid half turn or so. I don't know, somewhere in there. And we're going to see if that changed it. I might need to tweak it a little bit more so it's more dramatic for you to hear. So let's see if we can get this thing started. Okay, hopefully you could hear that. As soon as I pulled it out of the cut, you could hear it rev way up, and then it finally started going rich again. So what we need to do is if your saw is doing that, you're going to want to turn that high speed screw out, uh, just a little bit. You can start quarter of turns at a time and then dial it in from there. But I'm just going to back it out to about where I had it or so, and so we can try to hear what it's supposed to sound like in the cut. So let's try that out. So what you should hear is the saw should go into the cut, and as soon as you pull it out, you should hear it start to four-stroke. You'll hear it burble like, um, and it should show up on the audio like that. So let's go ahead and start this thing up and get it back in there and see what it sounds like. Okay, there we go. So that sounds amazing. So as soon as I pull it out of the cut, you can hear it do that barking a little bit. It changes sound. I chose this saw with this pipe because it's so dramatic. If you've got a factory stock muffler, it might not be as dramatic, but listen for it really closely, and then tune it from there. So just listen to it. So let's go ahead and we'll make it really rich now. So you heard it. That was a perfect cut. Let's make it really rich now. So what I'm gonna do is turn this high-speed screw out quite a bit, and let's see what it sounds like there. So I might have it half to 3/4 of a turn out now from where we just had it set. So let's get it going. Okay, so you heard it right there. It stayed in that blurble four-stroking kind of sound pretty much the whole cut. It kind of cleaned up a little bit as it was going through there, but that's too rich. And now it's not bad. You might foul a plug, you might not cut as fast, but at the end of the day, by far, that is the safer way to go than to have it too lean, because too lean and that too high of RPM, especially with a dull chain. This chain is pretty sharp, but especially with a dull chain, you'll get that really high RPM, and that's how you burn up a chainsaw, or really anything for that matter that has a cutting apparatus and a motor on it. So yeah, you definitely want to err on the side of a little bit rich if you want your 40-year-old chainsaw to last. I think this is a 80, maybe an 81 model, something around in there. It's got the plastic tank on it, so whatever year that is, but beautiful shape. This is a great saw. This is Kaiser, by the way. So if you're interested in seeing some other videos of Kaiser, I've got some up here, so check those out. So now what we're going to do is turn the high-speed screw in to right pretty much where it was, but I would suggest if you're going to do this, maybe turn it in if it's really rich, quarter of a turn at a time, just like the other stuff, and then kind of dial it in from there. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn it in a little bit and get that going. So let's see if we can get this thing started up. It might be a little rich from where we had it in that cut before, so it might be hard to start. So let's see what we got here though. Okay, well that's got it right back where I want it. As soon as it gets out of that cut, you can hear it go to that four-stroke, but in the cut it cleans right up. Well, there you go, guys. Pretty straightforward, not too bad. If you've got any questions, leave a comment below. And if you have a certain question about a certain model, I might have the model or be able to look it up if you're wondering which screw is which. Typically, the low speed is always going to be the one closest to the cylinder. So if you look at your carburetor, it's going to have two screws. Some only have one, but let's just keep it in the two screw models right now. The closer one to the cylinder is going to be your low speed screw. So either way, that's about it from me. Hopefully you found some value in this. Give me a like, thumbs up, and subscribe. If you enjoy this stuff, subscribe, please, so we can grow this channel and get you some really cool content out there. So either way, that's it from me. So take care of your small engines and treat them well.